And we are live. Welcome to Afterburn Soccer Show one more time. And yeah, we still haven't. We're here with our good friend Jose Carmona. You can follow him at El Chico Carmona over
Hello,
on.
everybody.
Hello, hello. And of course, I'm Nathan Hill, the host here. You can follow me at Nathan J Hill, or of course at Afterburn Soccer. Either the Substack site afterburn.soccer, where we post our content, or on our Twitter account at Afterburn Soccer. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see you all here. It's been a glorious 48 hours or so as we have basked in um, a championship in Frisco as North Texas Soccer Club went down 2-0 to visiting Philly Union 2, Philadelphia Union 2, and in an incredible second half. You saw the clips perhaps as you were joining the stream. Um, Incredible second half. North Texas came back with three professional goals to take charge and claim their first MLS Next Pro championship. What what a night. What a night. Just your reactions, Jose, to this.
It was excellent show of the maturity this team has shown throughout the season. They fell behind 2-0, and of course, things were looking bad. But this team has been resilient all season long, and something they haven't been given credit for is they have excellent options off the bench, uh, especially in attack and in the midfield, and that turned out to be a massive benefit. I don't know the Philadelphia Union two team enough to know how good their bench is, but I doubt that there's any team in MLS Next Pro that has the bench depth that the options available off the bench that this North Texas SC squad has had all season long, and that was the difference. The difference was the fact that they could reach into their bench to make corrections and adjustments that simply the other team just could not match. This has been true all season, and for most of the season, I should say, and especially down the stretch, and it came up spades for them.
That's good. That's good. Your brother-in-law there is telling you.
Yeah,
Make,
I'll try it. I'll try it. It could be. Yeah, it could be
could be all right.
my
Well,
good
good. Hey,
thing
that
there.
might be a clue. All right, but to
He
get
loves.
your
He
get
loves.
your
He loves
face.
my face, so he loves
Yeah,
my face. So
yeah.
I can't blame him.
Well, yeah, the depth and it really was a first half, and I'll have a couple of clips here that we can let hear head coach, interim head coach still, although we think that's a matter of time now, Michel Garbini, as he talked to media after the game. But Philly went up 2 goals, and both goals were not necessarily Philadelphia's tactics being better or their talent being better. They were just counterattack, a missed clearance, a ball in the box that was in the right place at the right time for a Philly player. It was just real disappointing start to the game. It just seemed like North Texas just weren't themselves. You know, just were not themselves in this one in that first 45 minutes. But credit to them, whatever Coach Michel said at halftime, and I don't know if it was a tough love, if it was some yelling and screaming, or if he didn't have to say much at all. Because they had 45 minutes left in the season when they had done everything else. Home, won the best record in MLS Next Pro, uh, won every home game, undefeated at home. Just such a dominant season, and to have playoffs at home, you give it away to risk losing a championship after all that you had done. It was a moment. It was a reckoning moment, but the team answered, and again with 3 incredibly fun goals. Let's go and jump over and hear what Michel just said about the adjustment.
In the field was incredible. Not only the players who was playing, but the bench, the staff. We did everything that we could to turn down this game, and we did. We came back and with a lot of effort. Um, to be honest, I think the best team won tonight.
They had to make changes. They came down. I mean, so this is not the first time that North Texas has had to come from behind, or have faced some obstacles over the course of the season. But we've seen this team come through time and time again. You know, at what point, Jose, is it just the makings of a special team, or yeah, or was it just purely talent shining through when it needed to?
I think it became the I'm not sure I understand the question correctly, but I believe everything changed. When Farrington scored that goal. I mean, it it's not that North Texas was being outplayed. It's just that Philadelphia Union took advantage of the opportunities they got when they got them. Those two they hit North Texas on that counter twice, but it's not like North Texas was being outplayed. They were just, it's possible to play an even match and still be down because it comes down to the teams that put away their opportunities, like Philadelphia Union did in the first half. But I want to say that once Farrington scored that beautiful goal, that was the difference right there. That changed everything. All of a sudden, North Texas is down one, and you could just see that the team from there, you could just see a different team altogether. You kind of were starting to get the sense that it was playing better at the beginning of the second half, but that kind of drove the point home, and you knew a second goal was coming. You knew where the momentum was at home, down a goal, and the way this team scores, one goal isn't a massive deficit for this team to overcome. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that was it. It was Farrington's goal that really drove home that this team was on the way back, and everything had changed.
Well, I guess my question was kind of the bigger picture, though. I mean, over the course of the season, is this just a special team that
Um, I
was
I
more
mean
talented
that's
than everybody else it was? I mean, was it just, or they just had it this year? They just had the right mix,
I think the we knew we had a special team when the team changed managers and there was no drop off.
right?
Excuse me. I think that was really it. I mean, most teams don't go through a managerial change unless their team's doing bad or something like that. That wasn't the case with this team. Excuse me. They changed managers almost mid-season because their manager got promoted, which is a great thing. But the new manager, Michel, came in and really this team did not drop off at all. They actually, you would say that they actually started playing better. They started playing more aggressive. I don't know that they had excuse me, that they had more talent than the other team. Their talent just was used better. The manager did a fantastic job of incorporating players that were sent down from the senior team, like Farrington and Nolan Norris, and that was just basically it. It's seeing, once you saw that this team was not gonna have a drop off when they changed managers, then you knew this team was something special. It takes a special team to basically, you know, keep improving even when the managerial change is informed, which is usually a huge deal for any team to
Right.
overcome.
Yeah, it's been such a kind of a fascinating part of the storyline this season, and yeah, I mean, I think you can argue that because North Texas did have more first team players, even though those first team players weren't always getting tons of minutes, but there
I
was some talent. There was
I
definitely more talent than maybe some next pro teams, but you still got to
I
put
I want
yeah,
I want to I want to say something though that's not necessarily true because a lot of the I mean, Philadelphia Union had a younger team, but most of the key players are signed to their senior team and loaned back. Not much dissimilar than what FC Dallas and North Texas does.
right,
I want to say it was pretty even as far as senior team. It's just that the difference is that Philadelphia Union, um, they let's say it flat out, they have the best academy in MLS at the moment, and therefore their players were simply younger, but they were senior team players. Uh, it's just that Philadelphia Union uh, used more of a U19 model and North Texas used more of a U21, U22 model. So North Texas was older, it, but let's get this right. North Texas SC is not an old team.
Hmm.
They're usually one of the younger teams in the league. Philadelphia Union just happens to be younger because their academy is actually the best academy in the league. And and I just said there was no shame in either team. They both have strong academies. And yeah, I just want to say that
Yeah. No. Okay.
Philadelphia Union had just as many senior team players, just that they're younger than North Texas.
Well, in North Texas, like all these, they experienced the rotation over the course of the season. Those first team guys weren't always available, and they continue to find ways to win. They continue to have the next man up mentality, which was an awesome thing, and I think it's something that in the in the post game with Michel, he just credits the players so much for being a tight unit, for pushing each other, challenging each other, trying to get better each and every week. So just a really special team this year that had everything come together and were consistent, which I think is so difficult on any professional level. I mean, one of the questions talking about coaches is the future of Michel Garbini. Is he stepped in? His official title still interim North Texas Soccer Club head coach, but it seems like that's a matter of time. In fact, so our friend Kuv, who covered the game for Afterburn, um, was there to witness the comeback. He was able to ask Michel after the game about 2025 and beyond. Here's what Michel said.
It's it's a question that I don't feel like intern. I feel like the head coach. I'm part of this club in a sense. Even when I assist the team, I have all the freedom to um, help the team to win in any ways in a sense. So I'm here to work for the club in a sense. I'm very proud to be part of the organization and hopefully to be longer here. What is the second question? Sorry. Okay. Tonight I'm gonna celebrate, but tomorrow I'm gonna start to thinking about how we're gonna win the next year. In a sense that's about business. In a sense, head coach is it's about thinking the next one. In a sense, so happy today. I'm gonna celebrate. That's for sure. In a sense, I don't know what time I'm gonna sleep tonight. In a sense, but tomorrow my head is already thinking about 2025.
All right, and it's already been so it's Monday now. He's no doubt probably sketching out what the depth chart could look like next season, especially with some of these guys expecting to make this next step or get more minutes or be in the mix. Um, you know, you I'm sure there'll be a couple players that we might see again with North Texas, but some of these guys are clearly ready for more opportunity with the senior team. Jose, I mean, it's not even debate worthy now. I mean, they have to drop that interim head coaching tag, and it's just a question of, Michel's a beloved player already. He was a great player for FC Dallas, a really interesting signing, earned a lot of love from fans. He's been a big part of the academy now and the coaching staff with North Texas. Is this the beginning of a nice coaching possibility down the line for FC Dallas to consider?
Yes, but I think we all can agree that the interim tag is it should have already been removed by now. But if it hasn't been removed, you have to wonder if Michelle may be in consideration to join the senior team as another coach because he's a guy who has been rising up through the ranks and and he did such a great job that I could see him joining the uh, all the coaches for whoever the new manager is for FC Dallas. So if he doesn't lose the interim tag, it's because he's getting promoted to the senior team. And I mean,
Yeah, that's
that's he's rising through the ranks. Let's face that. So I think that's the only thing that would prevent him from becoming the full time manager.
okay. That'll be something interesting to watch for as that conversation unfolds in the coming weeks for FC Dallas. But you're right. Maybe there's sort of a domino effect here of they need to wait and see who you know, the selection for their head coach for FC Dallas, and then the dominoes will fall, and it may be that if John Gall, who selected Michel as part of his North Texas and passed on the team in such a great form, maybe he'd want Michel to be a part of his staff if he gets the head coaching job. I'm not saying that John Gall is one of the finalists. He might be, might not be. I don't know. Um,
I think honestly, if you take the three of the people that fans think are going to look, uh,
the Rapids
uh,
it was a rough playoff for the Rapids.
I mean, Lusan, Quill, Gal. Think about it. He could probably join the staff of any of those three guys if any of those three guys
You know.
get the job, and two of those three are probably two of the three finalists for the jobs. So that's why I'm saying is Michelle joining the senior staff not that out of the question.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, that's the longer he doesn't get announced as the full time manager of North Texas, the more likely it is that he joins the staff. And let's not forget that being with the success he started with North Texas, other teams could be looking at him. Other teams, with new staffs coming in, could be going, "Hey, we could add that guy to our staff."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, I think he's clearly a coach that is rising through the ranks, and I could see him joining the senior team, not just here, but anywhere in MLS. And but I hope he gets the North Texas job. He did a fabulous job.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I hope they can keep him around. It seems like he's a great fit for that position, great fit, a part of the overall coaching staff, and knows the club well, and feels a lot of loyalty to it. So we'll see.
He's a great fit for the vision of this team of the whole FC Dallas ladder, which Gal and him have basically corrected from the Nico days. Nico's uh, refusal to play the young players really did some damage to that ladder, and Gal and Michelle have done a fabulous job of reverting to form. And let's I mean, the one thing this team did different this year than previous years was they trusted the academy. They went out and signed academy players or players that they had signed to the academy from other teams to North Texas, where in the past they relied heavily on international players that they brought in from other academies from outside of MLS. That went away this year. This year, this team decided to trust their academy and not to, it's almost to the level of the first time they won their first championship, and it paid off. And I think this is a great move for North Texas, and something that I hope they say, hey, the two times we won the titles with this team is because we had an academy heavy roster.
Yeah,
So I hope teams around the league are taking note that North Texas and Philadelphia Union, who put on a fabulous title game, by the way, they both relied heavily on their academy and the draft
yeah,
to get to where they are. And it worked for them, and it can work for other teams around the league because Philadelphia may have the top academy, and North Texas and FC Dallas has one of the better academies. But there are other teams that can make that same claim, who simply, for whatever reason, did not use the academy like these two teams did.
so then let's shift to this question for 2025, and then we'll talk kind of where we are with the FC Dallas coaching search. But which players do you think are, I don't like to say the word lock because um, they're going to have to earn their place. There's going to be some
Which
roster turnover,
I
but
know what
as
you're
far,
saying.
which
You're saying which
players
players?
are ready to make that jump? And
I,
obviously Nolan North for me, I think he's ready. He's still young, but he needs to have a big role with FC Dallas, or
I want to adjust what you said and say which players should get a look with the first team. There's
okay,
no guarantee that they're ready for the first team, but I think some players have earned an opportunity to at least join the senior team in preseason and see if they can find, you know, uh, make their way to the team. I mean, Nolan Norris is of course the obvious choice, but you got multiple players. You've got the MVP, Endele, who let's face it, has looked phenomenal. And if the team decides to go with Giovanni Jesus as their starter, having a guy like Endele as his number one backup uh, might be the way to go. I think Endele is a guy that's absolutely ready to make that step. You got Pedrinho, who scored the game winner. That's a player that should get a look because let's face it, he's while he did not have the best last two games, he's a guy that FC Dallas, the senior team craves. He's a guy that can make something out of nothing. And those guys are in short supply. And those guys are the kind of guys that you want on your team. You want players that can come in and when your team is down or has been stagnant, you want those players available on your bench that can come in and make something happen. And Pedrinho is one of those guys. Uh, uh, I want to say there's more. I would like them to give the captain Gordon a look. Let's face it, we had Corca, who was our fifth center back, and you would think because he was down with North Texas, he would get a lot of minutes, but he hardly ever touched the field. And Gordon and West Virginia are two of those reasons of why. Um, you had that pair starters, and then you had Saint, who was
Same thing.
playing like a hybrid role, third center back, defensive midfield. He would, on defense he'd be a third center back, and on attack he'd move up and become a midfielder, which was an interesting tactic and something I wouldn't mind seeing FC Dallas replicate. In all honesty,
Hmm.
but I would like to see either of those backups, either Gordon or Westergen, get a look to see if either one of them can be that fifth center back next year.
Yeah.
Um, and
Although the rumor is that Nico Gordon will return to England, to the UK at the end of the season. That this was a experience, helping him grow, helping him develop, and he'll probably get an opportunity to go back that way. So, but I've been impressed too. I think he's a good leader as well.
yes, and like I said, if they can manage to keep him, let's face it, center back is our position. We need at least three center backs. We need a starting level center back, and we need a solid number four and a solid number five. So there's spots there that to be earned, next season. And I'm just saying, I hope the team manages a way to keep him around and at least give him a shot because I think he'd be a player that is on the moving up and should at least get a look with the senior team. And yeah, I mean, Garcia should get a look. Some of the young players, there's about four or five players on here that should absolutely get a look with the first team.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, and of course, the new coach is going to shape that of the kind of the decisions and the vision for the team, how they might be tweaked tactically. But there was a lot to like about the way North Texas played, and so maybe it's an opportunity for the senior team to say, okay, we're going to have to tailor it to our guys, but this would be a really entertaining brand of soccer if we could implement it with more talent, in Major League Soccer. So it'll be interesting to see now because I like that too. I like having that having a player who has that flexibility to push up from the defense and help unlock and open up things, which just adds an extra wrinkle
One
for your opponents to deal with.
one last guy that should probably get a look with the senior team, and that would be Colodi, your MLS
Yeah,
Next Pro goalkeeper of the year, and he single handedly kept the team in the game during the Western Conference Final against St. Louis. Uh, let's face it, if Jimmy Maurer decides to retire, you could have Carrera and Colati as your two and three.
right.
I'm sure you'd want a more experienced goalkeeper as your number two, and I would respect if FC Dallas brings somebody in. But if they don't, then I think Colati should definitely get a look with the senior team.
I, I agree too. I think he's a really interesting story, and of course, was able to sit down with him a month or so ago and get to know him a little bit better. But just a good locker room guy, and a real competitor too. So deep roots with FC Dallas Academy. So seems like you could do worse than, as a number three, and maybe he still spends most of the season with North Texas. But why not? But yeah, you're right. It's gonna be those decisions will come, and in the future of a career as well, and whether he gets loaned out again or what. So there's a lot of those decisions we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, those are all my guys too. I think Ennis Sully it's been a very interesting signing. I know there's folks that criticize the amount that FC Dallas paid to transfer him in, but he just turned 18 at the beginning of the year, so he's still really young, and so he's one that I think you can see the talent, you can see that he's still adjusting and working things out and growing, and I think he can get a lot better. So he may not be ready to jump. He may compete some in off season, and we'll see what happens there. But I don't mind him getting more time with North Texas. I mean, there's a few of these guys, but yeah, it's time. Michael Colodi, Nolan Norris, Herbert Indele, Carl Santee, they're guys who have really stepped up and have this now to build upon as they go in with a bit more confidence into the
Yeah,
offseason winter
I
camp.
mean, NSLE has been criticized all season long, and rightfully so. But he is one of the players that drove this North Texas attack. And even though he wasn't having the best of games in the final, he's still one of the guys that took something from nothing and scored. And that's why you want players like that. Him and Pedrinho are players that, even when they're having bad games, can still hurt you. And those are the kind of players you need to have on your team. Consistency is an issue with him, and he's a young player, like you said, just turned 18. But I would say a player that maybe has proven he can play at this level and maybe could benefit with a loan out to a USL Championship side.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, Same thing with Pedrinho. If Pedrinho is gets a look with the senior team and they say, okay, you're not ready for that level yet. Some of these players that I mentioned, if they're not going to get uh, called up to senior team, then these are players that are all candidates to be loaned out because that's development, development, development. If some of these players who clearly showed they're good enough to lead this team to a championship team, why would you want to keep them at this level next year? You
Right.
don't. You want them with a senior team, or you want them loaned out. That's the way it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. Interesting choices to be made. But again, congratulations, North Texas. Congratulations to the players. I mean, I wore my Pepe Eltrin shirt, another piece of hardware. North Texas won USL League One back then with Pepe leading the charge, and now they get to add their first MLS Next Pro championship to the hardware trophy case there in Frisco. Just so much joy. Great to see all those fans turn out to support these young players and these academy kids. And this is what, in the midst of what's been a disappointing year for FC Dallas, this does feel good. It feels good, I'm sure, for that front office to know that, hey, we still have some things moving in the right direction, even as we're going through transition. But hey, before we log out, this may be the last live stream of the year. We may do another one depending on news that collects and free agent signings and all that kind of roster goodness, as well as a coaching change. And so,
Yeah, there's
you know,
several big moves coming. I mean, you're gonna have the end of season. Who stays, who goes for both FC Dallas and North Texas. Plus, you get to find out if Michel becomes the full-time manager and who the FC Dallas manager is. So, I mean, we may have enough to do one last one
yeah,
before
we'll
we call
see.
it, simply because of the massive news dump that should be coming our way sometime this week, in all honesty.
Right. And of course, the news on the coaching front is that evidently the interview process is either wrapped up or it's in the process of that wrapping up. And there were about a handful of candidates, maybe three final candidates, two of which are which might be are really in the running. So it just raises all sort of questions. We've all been wondering, trying to read the tea leaves. Eric Quill's New Mexico United team lost in the playoffs last night. So he posted a thank you to the fans and things, and some folks are trying to read between the lines that maybe indicating he won't be back with New Mexico, and because some have thought maybe he is the front runner if FC Dallas has decided that Peter Luxon has not, did what he could, but may not be their top choice. But we know Peter Luxon is also still one of those two. So is it Quill? Is it Luxon? Is it or another name? I mean, we're just trying to read the tea leaves to understand where this team might go. So no news yet, but it could drop any day now,
Well,
and
we'll find out soon enough. And the name that just has come up is Curtin, who
yeah,
who
Jim
re-
Curtin, interesting.
Jim Curtin, who just left from Philadelphia. But and I'll tell you why it won't be FC Dallas that signs him. It's because of the reason he left Philadelphia. Yes, he had a great academy and he played the kids, but he was frustrated with uh, the owners' refusal or inability to sign big name players to his team. The one thing that was holding that team back, you know,
Mm-hmm.
he was doing the best he could with what he had. He was doing great, but he simply lacked that one or two high level DP to get the team over the hump. He's going to have the same problem in FC Dallas if he comes here. And I think we all know that. I think we all know that the Hunts are going to rely on the academy, they're going to rely on the draft, and they're not going to go out of their way to sign the biggest names of free agents. And so I don't think Curtin is anywhere on FC Dallas radar. And if he is, I don't think he'd give him the time. Hey, Mars. Uh,
I
uh,
I think,
I,
but
I,
I
I
think,
I was cheering for the Rapids, and I'm sorry they got trounced, man.
but hey, I think your reasoning is right on. I mean, it someone said maybe FC Dallas would be more attractive if Jim Curtin could be in charge of player acquisition as well as the coach, and so he may be looking for that kind of role, that kind of environment where he has a bit more say. Um, but it is an interesting scenario to think about, and if indeed Atlanta is interested, they could probably pay him more, and it's a
Yeah, I've heard that he's not interested in the Atlanta job. Atlanta fills one of his two criteria, which is yes, they're willing to go get the big name players, but that's because their academy is not a very good academy. He's not gonna playing the kids does very little for him there. A team like St. Louis in a talent rich area, that means that looks tailor made for him. A, a talent rich area similar to North Texas, and that would be an ideal place for him because they're not too shy about spending money.
mm,
So and let's face it, their whole pathway is still in that developmental stage. You know, only having been a expansion team not too long ago. So I think they would be the front runners. I don't think he gives Atlanta. I think he would give FC Dallas a look before Atlanta. In all honesty, um, and let me tell you this: if we wake up tomorrow and Jim Curtin is announced as the new manager for FC Dallas, then I will be stunned because it would mean that the Hunts have basically promised him that they will reach into their pocketbooks
mm-hmm.
because that's what it's going to take to get him. It's going to take them saying, "Hey, okay, if you join us, we will go get you that DP that you want," and
Yeah.
that would just be stunning to everybody, you know.
Interesting stuff. So he's an interesting candidate. Of course, down in Austin, Nico Estevez, former FC Dallas head coach, surprise pick. I wish him the best. Nico's a great guy. Never lost this locker room, even when things were not going his way. But it will be interesting to see how that shapes out because there are some Austin fans who are not super impressed by that decision. But um, I'm rooting for Nico, even though I don't want Austin to win. So, but that's
Um, I
yeah.
in Nico's defense, I want to say that when he went to San Jose, he got hamstrung right away when they sold their best player. You know, similar to what happened when the team sold Gresso for us. That really hamstrung us. You know, you went and you
You mean
sold
well?
your
You're talking about Lucci. You're thinking about Lucci.
no. Yeah, similar to what happened to Lucci
Yes, right,
is
right.
what happened to Nico. I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say. It's similar to
Okay.
what happened to Lucci. Lucci came on, he got hamstrung when the team sold Gressel, and same thing happened to Nico in San Jose. He goes there and their best guy gets sold off. It's like, wow, that's terrible. But in Austin, it's a team that's gonna say, okay, you want to play an older squad. You want us. Austin will be willing to do that for him. Uh, I think they'll put him on a short leash though. So it's a matter of him showing up and having. He's gonna have to give them results.
Yeah.
Uh, he'll be on a short leash, and if that team is struggling midseason, he won't be there for long because Austin will say, hey, we don't have a good academy like FC Dallas or and San Jose also has a top five academy.
Yeah.
So they're not relying on their academy. They're gonna go and say, okay, who do you want? We'll go get it for you. And I think that's something that Nico wanted.
Hmm. So exciting news to see, and yeah, it might be this week. It might be. I mean, I think there is a deadline for roster news, and it's like by the 20th of November or something. Meanwhile, Inter Miami gets knocked out of the playoffs in what was no doubt a huge uh, disappointment for Major League Soccer executives who were milking this run as much as they could. Um, but hey, I kind of like the chaos of the playoffs. I mean, it's one of the things you can. You may not love the format of the best of three, but MLS has got to have its quirks if we're going to.
Yeah, they were trying to get as many games as possible from Inter Miami, but this is not the death knell that everybody is saying. The death knell will come if he doesn't return next year to play for MLS. Then that would be a big blow to the whole Apple MLS
Yeah,
deal. Yes, we're all there with you on that. Not fans of the LA teams,
yeah,
um, but if one of them's playing Seattle, which I think they are, I,
yeah.
uh, I'd rather they not lose this this round.
Well, we'll leave it there, Jose. It's been a great season. Yeah, we might probably we'll look for it and see. We may do one more stream. This may be the last of the year, though. We'll just see.
Yeah,
But of course, I'll keep trying to posting some content each week about the news that's coming out from FC Dallas. We're getting closer and closer to silly season, where these
yeah.
rumors start to pop up, and we wonder who Dallas is going to go out and get and try to improve,
I think
especially in that back line.
I think I think the fans will be more excited to see who they're going to get rid of because I think we all agree that there's quite a few dead weight. There's a lot of dead weight on this team, and I think that's what most of us will be excited to see certain players go. And I'm not going to get to who or what. That's another conversation. If this is the last podcast that we do of the year, Marcin, thank you for joining us. I'll be cheering your team on in CONCACAF Champions League, which as a newer fan to that franchise, you're in for a shock when you see the level of craziness that CONCACAF brings.
Yeah,
A lot of shenanigans.
yeah.
All right, guys.
All right. Oh wait, one more thing from Marcin. Don't be canceling shows after the Rapids game next weekend. We'll try. We'll own it. We'll own it. All right.
Well, we're gonna win. That's
Yeah,
so,
that's
so
right.
there will be no need to cancel.
Well, good night, everyone. Thank you.
I'm an
Thank you for
optimist.
following, watching. Of course, I'll post the audio tomorrow right there on Afterburn.soccer. And watch for the latest news as things
All right.
unfold. Thanks, Jose.
Yep. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Good night.